During this Black History Month, we take time to send a shout out and salute to our FBA ancestors who came before us and laid the groundwork for us. And in this video, we're going to be talking about our FBA brothers who created the first ambulance service up there in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, which was called Freedom House Ambulance Service. It will go on to be groundbreaking, and it will lay the blueprint for what will go on to be the modern day ambulance service. Now, these brothers don't get their proper just due respect, and they don't get all of the accolades they deserve. So what we going to do in this video is put them under the magnifying glass and blow their story up so they can get their proper just due, because what these brothers did with Freedom House, was bar none. These brothers laid the blueprint, and laid the template for what would go on to become the modern day ambulance service. Before then, there was no modern day ambulance service. These brothers was putting on, other black people in the community who was deemed, less fortunate to succeed, in societal standards. Society would deem these people as, being less likely to succeed. And these brothers was, putting on other black folks in the community, which I rock with and I salute all day, every day, and they was gaining traction, and before this time, there was no ambulance services. If you needed an ambulance service, what would happen was two things. The police would either come and pick you up and throw you in the back of a police car, or the funeral people would come and pick you up and drive you to the hospital. Now, we know, especially during this time, even up until now, police don't, black people don't receive fair and equal treatment when it comes to police. So, these police weren't taking brothers and sisters to the hospital. They were driving them the long way around, ensuring that they had a death, you know what I mean? So they didn't get adequate care. And, Freedom House ambulance service, they were ahead of their time. They weren't given the proper, honor they deserve, because what they did was lay the groundwork, to what will be going to become the modern day ambulance service. So yeah, these brothers and sisters, some emphasis need to be placed on their name. They need to be, lifted up everywhere. They need to be talked about more, because they need their proper just due and respect, and some emphasis put on their name. They need some damn respect put on their name, because what they did was ahead of its time. It had never been done on up until this point. And black people weren't receiving, adequate care in the community, up until this point. So what this did was ensure that black people were getting adequate care, taken to the hospital and getting looked after, and right when it was gaining traction and gaining notoriety, the legs were pulled out from under it. They weren't receiving funding no more. The mayor of Pittsburgh, by the name of Pete Flannery, removed the funding for it, and the funding was stripped, and it was adopted by the government. The government then took credit for it, and pushed the black people aside, as if they didn't even exist. And this is a lot of time what happens to us as foundational black Americans. We're so creative as a people that we create things on the drop of a dime, and then when we do create it, which they don't expect us to create things with limited resources, and then when we do create it, other people take ownership of it and say they created it and kick us out of the creation story altogether. So we just putting some emphasis and shining the spotlight on these unsung heroes at Freedom House Ambulance Service during this Black History Month. We acknowledge them and respect their contributions, and during this Black History Month, we want to lift them up and, make sure their name gets the proper recognitions it deserves, and they get their roses and their flowers. Just my thoughts on the matter, but big shout out, salute to the FBA brothers who created Freedom House Ambulance Services, Pittsburgh, PA. Peace.